You're listening to a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. Some say we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here. All right, everyone. Welcome to another edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts of the show. To my right is a man who will not be modeling a T-shirt on this program, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. You'll have to go back into the archives to find when I modeled a specific shirt. We just might have a cameo from someone later, though. But I'm doing all right on this Saturday morning. A little tired. Friends of mine were in town from VA. They're in town for a wedding. So after Seahawks sessions, which you were there for the episode, Ryan, you know how late that went. I went out and met them. So I was up late. So I'm a little tired this morning, but I am fired up to talk football with you. How are you, sir?
Doing well. You know, the back end of the week was a little sad. It was a little sad, and not me personally, but just from things been happening around our country the last couple of days, and I had a moment to reflect on it yesterday on Total Football Talk Extra in our final thoughts. I steered away from sports, and it's like, you know what, I just gotta address this. But it's Saturday. My cat is spazzing out. You can tell. Yeah, it's Saturday. I'm ready to talk some football. Yeah, I got the rundown done. I got the link done for the stream. I was very proud of myself after last night. I'm going, this was a good night.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about a few things in this show. We're gonna talk about the Thursday night game between the Packers and the Commanders, and we'll talk about what interests us the most in week 2 of the NFL, the rest of week 2 in the NFL. But first, before we go off together in this sports journey, we're going to talk. Why don't you follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Search for No Credentials Required, and check out our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. You can also subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, Podbean, and our YouTube channel. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube, so you know when live shows go up, when you know the show clips go up, or general announcements are made on both the community on YouTube and on Twitter. Rate, review, comment. 5-star rating is helpful on the podcast side. 5-star rating is helpful. Leave a review on platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Good Pods. And also, if you're on Spotify or listening on Spotify, leave us a comment. We'll go back and read them. And because we're a live show, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we want you to jump in the comments. We want you to jump in. If you're watching afterwards on the replay on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, leave us your thoughts about week 2. If you're a Packers fan, feel free to say a lot about your team and how they played. If you're a Commanders fan, same thing. Let us know. And it's like I said, it's been kind of a I want to say sad week, but kind of a retrospective week, just a reflective week here in America. And but this sound always cheers me up when I need it. You know what time it is, Dustin?
Yeah, whenever you're feeling a little down, this sound will get you feeling fine. It's chime time.
There it is. Look at that rhyme. I did not mean to do that. But before we move on to our to our first topic of our first segment, we want to give a shout out to Dustin's brother-in-law Nick, who got his "No Credentials Required" T-shirt on Thursday, and he sent me a picture. He sent Dustin a picture. I'm pretty sure your sister did the honor of taking the picture. There he is. That's a wonderful T-shirt, and it's actually available in our Bonfire store, which you can find in the link below. You can order shirts like this one, the Arson Judge tweet by John Heyman, the Icon Sports T-shirt that I made, plus others. There's also a fundraiser T-shirt in there for No Shave November. So, yeah, there's Nick. There's Nick in all his glory. I don't see Pickles in the background though.
No, Pickles. He's probably laying down on the couch or one of his many beds that are strewn throughout the house. They have a pillow that says the pillow is reserved for the dog, and he knows he lays on that one. But this, you might be asking, why did Nick win this shirt? He won it because we had a contest, the OV Goal Watch 2025, and Nick correctly guessed the date that Alexander Ovechkin would break Wayne Gretzky's goal scoring record and become the leading scorer. If you're a new listener, we hold contests like that occasionally, and we will tweet about it on socials, and we will and let you know about it on Facebook and all the other social medias. And so if we have a contest like this again, we'll let you know and get in, participate. We had less participation in the OV Goal Watch contest than I thought we did. My Uncle Al, he was there, but he guessed a little too early. And I thought Brent was going to get it right. Brent's a very knowledgeable man, but Nick snuck in there.
Nick snuck in with minutes to spare. That's what happened.
Yes, so he did.
You can get T-shirts like this one at our Bonfire store, or you could possibly win one someday, like Nick did. We got a comment in the comments section. Hawk TV jumping in the chat saying good morning and hello week 2. Yes, absolutely. And because I miss it so much, I'm going to play that OV Goal Watch 2025 element. I miss it so much. It's because of the voiceover that Dustin did.
OV Gold Watch 2025.
Reverb and everything.
Oh yeah, reverb, ping pong delay. I pitch shifted myself. I had fun with that one.
You certainly did. Certainly did. All right, let's move. Let's get into some football here. On Thursday night was our first game of week 2, and Dustin, like you have said in the past, and you wish that Thursday nights could be moved to after Halloween or after Thanksgiving. But this one was a I would say it wasn't a blowout. The Commanders made it entertaining very late.
Yeah, they tried to make a game of it in the 4th.
They did, but unfortunately it was a little too late as the Packers beat them 27-18. Jordan Love had a solid game on offense. Let's talk about this game a little bit, Dustin. I'm going to have you start and let people know your thoughts about this game.
Well, first off, as people know, I'm no strangers to giving apologies on this show when I am wrong. And so far in this very young season, we knew this Packers defense was good after last year. What they did in the playoffs to the Dallas Cowboys and their late run, the Packers defense, as it got healthy last year, it just kept improving.
Yeah.
And now you add somebody like Micah Parsons, who was quoted as saying, J Love, you give us 20 points, we should be able to win the game. And right now, that seems to be the case. To be the case. This Packers defense, I don't know about you, Ryan. They sacked Jaden Daniels, I believe, 4 times. And they just have the look. They have the look of a defense. And you can call me whatever you want, but I know defense a little bit because I watched the Legion of Boom. It might be, people might hate to admit it, but the Legion of Boom is one of the best defenses in history for that 2-year run where they were really on it. This Packers defense has a look of a defense that can carry the team far into the postseason and potentially do great things in the postseason. And I think this game is a microcosm of 2 things that we thought may happen. One, You and I both, I think, predicted Packers defense is going to be very good. Now you add Micah Parsons, they're going to be a great unit. But the other thing that I think you were pretty vocal about, Ryan, is you were wondering if Jaden Daniels was going to be able to avoid the dreaded sophomore slump on our prediction show. And I don't think I'm not ready to sit here and say that Jaden Daniels is in a sophomore slump. But what I do want to say, the thing that I said on our prediction show is that the Commanders are not going to be able to surprise anybody anymore. Nobody saw him coming last year. People know what Jaden Daniels is now. So I think it's a merging of two things that we thought might happen. One, this Packers defense looks to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the Commanders, they can't keep they can't sneak up on anybody anymore. Teams have watched tape on Jaden Daniels. They know what to do. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be okay. He was let down. Noah Brown had a big drop. This game just had an overall sloppiness to it. Like it had the feel of, unfortunately, a normal Thursday night game. The last week's Thursday opener was a good game, but yeah, this is just this is why I want this game to be moved. And again, as with last year, I don't know who the Packers' primary receiver is. It looks to be Tucker Kraft. The Commanders got to shore up their defense against the tight ends in this game. Tucker Kraft ripped them up for 6 catches, 124 yards, and a TD. And the backup tight end was in there on a few long catches. So the Commanders, they got to shore up their defense on the tight ends. And I want to get your thoughts too, Ryan. Before I pass it over to you, I want to get your thoughts on these K-balls, because Al Michaels even said it on the broadcast. He said the 50-yard field goal is almost like a chip shot these days in the NFL. Cue Matt Gay then missing one from 48 and 51 during this game, but he made one from 51 earlier. And I just noticed early in the season, these K-balls, I think teams are going to be willing to attempt long field goals now. I remember when I was growing up watching footballs, if somebody was kicking a field goal 50 yards or over, there was like, yeah, I don't know that they should do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people, I mean, it happened against your Jets, unfortunately. How much was the field goal that Boswell kicked to win the game?
60 yards.
And I feel like that's going to be routine with these K-balls. But I want to pass it over to you. I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, before we do that, let's go to the comments section. Desi from Alabama saying, good morning. Good morning to you, madam. Your brother-in-law, Nick, who we just modeled on the show, his t-shirt, saying, Remus Island Jets defense under Rex was better.
Was better than the Legion of Boom? I don't know about that.
I will say this. They were very good. They just couldn't win a Super Bowl, unlike your Legion of Boom. So that's the one thing I wanted out of this Rex Ryan. Well, I would say Eric Mangini built Rex Ryan led defense with Revis Island as the cornerstone, as a building block for this defense. Yes, I would have wanted that, but he got inducted to the Hall of Fame last year, and from what I saw, Mark Gastineau from the New York Sack Exchange is now being considered as a player's choice for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So that's awesome, because I watched Mark Gastineau along with Kermit the Frog was one of the reasons why I became a New York Jets fan. And Desi giving you a nice compliment. Dustin, your hair looks better this morning. It was kind of wild on Seahawks sessions.
Well, sometimes Seahawks sessions gets a little wild in general. The BS Express always hits the tracks.
All aboard!
But thank you.
Let me give you my thoughts about this game. I didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights the next day. But like you said, Dustin, most early Thursday night games, they're ugly. They're ugly looking because either one team doesn't show up or both teams don't show up. But this was ugly. And like you mentioned, the Packers defense, they've been stellar. They've been stellar the first 2 weeks of the season. And this was against playoff teams from last year. They beat the two teams that met in the divisional playoff, and the Commanders wound up going to the conference championship. So they beat two playoff teams here. I know you mentioned Jaden Daniels with the sophomore slump. Let's
Yeah.
relax. It's been 2 weeks.
It's early. It's early.
And the game that they just played was on short rest. Was on 5 days to prepare. So technically 4. So, but both teams get 10 days to rest before their next game. But let's talk about this Packers defense. They got after Jaden Daniels. They sacked him 4 times. They stopped the run, and for the most part, until late in the fourth quarter, when they kind of eased off the gas a little bit, they held the Commanders' offense in check. The Packers, they might have another quarterback tight end duo like previous long running quarterbacks had. Brett Favre had Mark Chmura. Aaron Rodgers had Jermichael Finley, and later he had Robert Tonyan as his tight end target. And it worked for them for that duo for several years. Jermichael Finley won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers and this Packers team back in 2011. And now Jordan Love and Tucker Kraft might be that tight end combination that Green Bay's been looking for. Word of caution for Packers fans, though. Kraft is a free agent, unrestricted free agent in 2027, and he's only making a cool million and a half for the next 2 seasons. After what they did with Jordan Love, giving Jordan Love a bag of cash, giving Josh Jacobs a bag of cash, and now Micah Parsons a bag of cash, are you going to be able to find a way to keep Kraft? Because right now, that's Jordan Love's best target as far as tight ends go. But
Yeah.
you could also argue it's his favorite target, period. And we've seen over the years a tight end position grow into not just a blocking position, but primarily a pass catching position. It started with Antonio Gates, moved on to Travis Kelce. We had
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony
He
Gonzalez.
was a trailblazer in
He
that
was a
regard.
trailblazer.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a big trailblazer in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So Tucker Kraft is now one of those new generational tight ends that primarily is a part of the passing offense and becomes an extra target for the quarterback to go to. It's not just the wide receiver position that's going to be the primary catch position. Tight ends turning into that now, and this is the way that the modern NFL is. It's the way it's run. So they got that going. Commanders' depth is going to be tested. It's going to be tested because we know Austin Eckler suffered an Achilles injury. It seems as if his season's over. You got yourself McCroskey Merritt. Merritt. I don't call him Bill. He had a terrible game, so he doesn't deserve to be called Bill. So I'll call him by his other name. I forgot what his first name is. Jalen.
It's something with a J.
I'm looking it up.
It's much cooler than Bill, in my opinion. But apparently, the reason he wants to be called Bill is he watched Jacory is way cooler than Bill, in my opinion. Yeah. No offense to the Bills out there, but apparently he wants to be called Bill because he watched a cartoon when he was younger, and the main character was Bill, and then people started calling him Bill, and I guess it stuck. But
no. With an effort like he had on Thursday night when he was held to 4 carries and 17 yards, you don't get deserved to be called Bill. You're still Jacory. Or JCM, whichever one you want.
JCM.
We got another comment in the comment section from Desi. Toot toot.
Yes.
All aboard the BS Express.
The BS Express. The horn was going last night. The horn was going.
I don't have the horn.
Or the train. Yeah. Yeah. Daniel's got. Well, Dan's got the soundboard, the video elements. That you never know. You never know when he's going to push that button.
Never know. Speaking of which, the BS Express is in full force. Toot, all aboard.
He is here, the Seahawks captain of our ship, right there.
I can make that sound clip for him, the toot, all aboard if he wants. All aboard.
It sounds suspiciously like the Homer alert button.
Which there's no sound on that. It's just the element.
I know it's live.
When I put it up live. All right. He says tickets are free and the drinks are free, but there's no seatbelts.
Oh man.
That's a safety regulation.
Hopefully, it's not the drink that he had on on one of your episodes of the Three Rails Metro Hockey Podcast. What was it? Jack and Jill fell down the hill, or
Jack and Jin go up the hill,
oh,
or down the hill, down the hill.
Oh, jeez, yeah. That.
It's like, I don't do that drink anymore. Like, well, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Wise decision. All right, we're going to actually, let me bring up my script here. Let's go to excuse me, real quick. All right, we're gonna take a quick our one and only commercial. Oh, here we go. Jack and Jin went down the hill. 1/3 Jin, 2/3 Jack. Oh
man.
Also known as my night juice. Or I mean, it's better. That night juice is better than booty juice. Okay, if you want to know what booty juice is,
oh man,
just watch Dave Landau's. I can't believe this is happening about the werewolf. About him being about his roommate when he went to rehab the first stint in rehab when he was 17. He was roomed with a guy who thought he was a werewolf.
That could make for some interesting nights.
This story is hysterical, but yeah, it's hysterical. Does he say it's a fun drink? And I mentioned booty juice. Hang on. Yep, booty juice. But that's not what it's for. It's for sedation. That's what it is. It's basically if a patient gets out, if a patient at a rehab center or a mental institution gets out of control, they inject
into the booty. Yeah.
They inject the sedative into the booty and makes them go night night, which is also night juice, but it's called booty juice because it goes into your booty. All right. On that note, what is a great lead up to our sponsor of this episode, Fanatics. Being a fan isn't just about game day; it's about every day. And at Fanatics, we've got the gear to rep your team and the memorabilia to make it unforgettable. From jerseys to limited edition collectibles. I always get that wrong. From jerseys to limited edition collectibles, from the stands to your shelf, it's all here. Fan gear, fan moments, Fanatics. And our affiliate link is in the description. So whatever gear you're looking for, NFL is in session, NCAA is in session. I know Desi, look at me. I know you're a Crimson Tide fan. Get yourself some Crimson Tide gear at the affiliate link for Fanatics, and you can help the show. You help the show. Every sale that you use on our link goes back towards the show. And again, NFL gear, NCAA gear, baseball's in full swing. No pun intended. Get yourself some playoff gear when the playoffs come by. You may want to throw it out afterwards after your team gets swept in 2 games.
Man.
I'm not mentioning which team. I'm just saying it happens. But also the NCAA conference plays going into session, going to be happening soon. NFL getting the regular season's in full effect right now. But it's not just that. NHL season coming soon. Hockey's. The prospects are on the ice right now. So they got hot prospects tournaments going on. Preseason is going to happen pretty soon. And I guess the NBA, if you want to buy some NBA gear.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I want to use this link to re-up. I want to get some Oiler gear before the season. I want to get some, I mean, well, we'll see if I'll get some Mav gear. I'm still pretty mad.
Hey, yeah. So is the majority of Dallas, but it's not just the big 4 sports. You've also got MLS, you've got Formula 1, NASCAR, WWE, whatever kind of gear for your sport that you could find. Get yourself some stuff at Fanatics. Our affiliate link is in the description in the podcast side and also on the streaming side on Facebook and on YouTube later on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. We have some more comments in the comments section, and Desi's saying it's a sedative. Dan says, anyway, this show ain't free.
So time for some ads.
It's time for some ads. Some of those ads he puts on his show are voiced by this guy right here.
Yes, you're on the show even when you're not on the show, Ryan.
That's right. I'm there in spirit. James saying that's not fair, giving a guy a shot down there.
I mean,
it happens.
It does.
Yeah. And then, well, I'm not gonna read that. Desi says, "I'll buy you and Dustin an introductory Crimson Tide shirt." Yeah, she's trying to nominate us for the Tide. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm a Penn State fan, lady. Come on. I mean, I can't. I mean, look, I can be wooed. Okay, I can be wooed, by both feminine charms and free gear.
Ryan comes on the show in a couple weeks. Roll Tide.
Roll damn Tide. Too much in me in upstate New York. Dan saying, "All hail to the Church of Matthew Schaefer and the Holy Wrister. Amen." Sure. All right, we're going to move on to the rest of week 2 of the NFL, what we're looking forward to, and also what we're not looking forward to. So let's talk about our most intriguing matchups that we both have in week 2 of the NFL, and I'm going to give us a go to start us off. I've got my eye on, and by the way, NFL, 9 1 p.m. games and 4 late games. 4 late games. Come on. Yeah. Gotta balance the schedule a little bit. God, do a slow release as opposed to flood the chat.
Yeah. You've been on this for a while, and I wholeheartely agree with you as your friend and co-host.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But my eye on the game I have my eye on is the Broncos and the Colts. And I want to see if week 2 will give us the opportunity to see if either team was a fluke in week 1. Broncos are facing a better offensive line with the Colts, and we'll see if they can get after Daniel Jones. They also have a better running game than the Titans because the Titans' offensive line is straight garbage. They're absolute paper thin. They allowed 6 sacks on poor Cam Ward last week, and it's not going to get any better for the Titans because they're playing the Rams this week, and they have just as good of a defensive line as the Denver Broncos. But I want to see if the Broncos can get after Daniel Jones because the Colts offensive line is substantially better than the Tennessee Titans, both in pass protection and in run blocking. On the flip side, the Colts are playing a substantially better defense than the Broncos than the Miami Dolphins. And I want to see if Daniel Jones can duplicate the success that he had in week 1. And I said this on my guest spot on Levac and Gaz back in August when we talked about Daniel Jones being named a starter. What kind of Colts team is this going to be with Daniel Jones as a quarterback? And so far, after one, there's only one real, sample size that we have so far. We'll get when we get to week 4, we'll have a broader sample size of what he's done in the field.
Yeah.
But if this Colts team is 4-2 after the 6-week mark, they could make some noise in that AFC South division, which is absolute trash.
Especially with the way the Texans started.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my most intriguing matchup in week 2. Dustin, how about you?
Well, my most intriguing matchup, Ryan, it involves your team, the New York Jets, taking on the Buffalo Bills. Now,
you can find this gear and more in our affiliate link below for Fanatics.
There it is. A nice shirt there. Yeah. Nice shirt. But the reason people might look at me side-eyed when I'm saying this is your most intriguing matchup, blah, blah, blah. Well, one, yes, for a couple of reasons. One of which being for selfish reasons. But one, I want to see whether Justin Fields can replicate his, let's call it what it is, excellent Jets debut. He was using his legs. He was using his arms. He was accurate. It was a great debut for him on the New York Jets. And I want to see if they can replicate that success against a Bills defense. I mean, to be fair, I don't really know what the Bills defense is yet because they gave up a lot of points to the Baltimore Ravens. I believe both teams scored in the 40s for that game. So neither defense really really did great. But is that more of an indictment of how good the Bills and Ravens offense is, respectively? Or is it an indictment against the defense, the Bills defense? And the Bills, Ed Olivier is out for this game. You broke the news in our Discord, Ryan. Jump on in. The water's nice and warm if you haven't joined yet. But you broke the news in the Discord, but this makes a difference. And you said that you hope the Jets run the ball. And I hope so, too, because I have Breece Hall on my fantasy team. I want to know if he can replicate last week's success. He had no touchdowns, but he had a lot of yards. And I want to see if the Jets can continue to run the ball. On the Bills side, Josh Allen is going to do Josh Allen things. Of course he is. I want to see how James Cook performs. I said James Cook would have to be a key piece for the Bills before the season. In the early going, it looks like he will be. Someone will emerge at wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. I don't know who it is yet. But if you look up Josh Allen's games against the New York Jets in recent history have given him a little trouble. This Jets defense has been able to slow down Josh Allen to some degree. So I want to see. I'll have my eye on this matchup. There's a lot to like about this one.
I have a question. Which fantasy team is Breece Hall on?
He is on my team. He is not on Chemical Toilet from the GNO League. He is on Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Nice.
In the Yahoo Money League that I'm in with Dave. I think it's called Football Funny Farm or something like that. Or Funny Farm Football, I think Dave named it. So
yeah. Funny Farm Football. Yeah, I'm looking at the injury report for the Buffalo Bills, and it is a lot. There's a lot of defensive players on the list that are limited in practice and questionable for the game. Jordan Hancock, Taron Johnson, Ed Oliver, as you mentioned, he's out. Shaq Thompson and Tre'Davious White. They were all limited in practice this week, and they're limited. They're listed as questionable for this game, and those are 5. One's out, but 4 are questionable. There are 4 solid players in that defense that are going to be possibly out for this game. So if I'm head coach Aaron Glenn and Tanner Angstrand for the offensive coordinator, I'm running that ball down their throat, especially after last week when we saw the Ravens run for 200 plus yards on this Buffalo team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't want to go Homer alert. That's later in the show. That's later. It's another segment. Actually got a twofer for one of our segments, but we got some comments, more comments in the comment section. Of course. Well, okay. Actually, no. I'm gonna play that Homer alert right now. Please hold. Homer alert from Dan. Steelers Seahawks. Bias completely aside. Sure. Key injuries for both sides. Devin Witherspoon is doubtful. Joey Porter Jr. is out. Okay.
Spoon being doubtful hurts, especially with the play of Reek Woolen, which we got into last night.
Yeah, I saw that. James saying Baltimore scheduling their anniversary celebration as Cleveland is weapons grade trollery.
Oh man.
Well, so was the Tennessee Titans playing the Houston Texans with the Oilers uniforms.
Yeah.
Which I think, again, a full trade, or the Oilers name and colors goes to Houston in exchange for Houston's colors, because the state flag for the state of Tennessee are basically the Houston Texans color scheme.
So, okay.
Yeah, NFL, and Desi saying NFL is killing me with this late games. Yeah, there's only 4 late games and 9 1 p.m. games.
Yeah.
I know they want to fit all the games into 1 p.m. for Red Zone, but having less than like 5 games on Red Zone for the 425 games is can be kind of a slog.
Yeah.
Honestly, last week was a slog.
Yeah. It was in the late game, and my Seahawks were a part of it, but it just, the late window was not as exciting as the early window. It's just a fact.
No, it wasn't. That's why I hate that the balance of the games. The NFL's got to do it. Again, I said the NFL's got to do a slow release. They got to do a slow release as opposed to just all of it at once. Dan saying Dolphins GM Chris Greer needs to go to the moon, as does Mickey Loomis of the Saints. But we know your hatred of him. He also says Daniel Jones winning 12 games with the Colts will be the funniest thing known to mankind. Speaking of Daniel Jones, hi Nate. Nate from the third and 10 podcast and corner booth. Danson asking when did former Panther Shaq Thompson sign in Buffalo? News to me. I guess he was I think it was a free agent signing. Whatever. I'm not sure what he meant. The whoa easy there family show, Ryan. Yeah, I don't know what I did there. And penalty box? No, there's no penalty boxes here. All right, no penalty boxes here. I could institute one.
I got put in it,
but it's only for one member of our audience, I think. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to our self-hatred game of the week in week 2. This is the game that This is a game that one of us picks the game that we're absolutely positively avoiding. Oh, by the way, 2 Monday night games this week, NFL. Come on. Anywho, self-hatred game of the week. These are the games we are absolutely positively avoiding because either one or both teams are awful. So, Dustin, go ahead and start with your self-hatred game of the week.
Well, my self-hatred game of the week, I'm looking at the 49ers versus the Saints, okay? Spencer Rattler versus Mac Jones. Sign me up. It's exactly what I was looking for. But the thing is, I don't want to watch this game because the Saints, they performed better than I thought they would against the Cardinals, okay? But I don't think they'll be able to keep up with that 49er defense, which if they play like they did against the Seahawks, the Saints are going to have some problems. I think Spencer Rattler will struggle a bit. And Mac Jones, I don't know what to make of Mac Jones. I think that he'll have some rust. I think it'll be a sloppy game. I think as long as Christian McCaffrey is healthy, it will be the Christian McCaffrey show, and it'll be Christian McCaffrey running against the Saints because the Niners, they have Ricky Pearsall at receiver, and but Kittle is out, Purdy is out, Juwan Jennings is out. Like there's none of the people that you know in this game, and it sounds cliche, but I think it's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffrey trying to catch screen passes and run around the yard, and I'm not looking for that.
I try to find me an obscure wide receiver off the San Francisco 49ers roster because for backup quarterbacks, like they don't always go to the primary. You think the primary receiver is. He goes to the one that he has the most chemistry with that he's been on the field on the practice field with. So we have to search for some a free agent wide receiver.
Oh man, 49ers. Things are afoot in the GNO league.
Yeah, that's right.
It worked for you. It worked for you last year. You were over at my house and you kept putting up that Juwan Jennings. It was that game that he scored like 5 touchdowns. You picked him up the week before.
Yep. I had, and he did like nothing the rest of the year. But I did pick up. I picked up Johnston from the Chargers, and he basically won me the league last year. He's a waiver wire pick, and he was in week 15. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna pick him up, and he pretty much. I think he had like 18 receptions and almost 200 yards receiving, no touchdowns. But ours is a PPR league, so you get I think you get half a point per reception. So
yeah, I think so.
My self-hatred game of the week. And for the second consecutive week, the Miami Dolphins are in the conversation for the self-hatred game of the week. This time, they are playing they're playing the New England Patriots. The Patriots are coming to town. And between the Patriots trying to find their identity on offense, and that will we see Drake May throw the ball 45 times again, like last week, and the Dolphins' once vaunted offense is still on a milk carton. To which I say, I'm going to make an element for this. Thank God for Red Zone. I'll go back and forth. Tomorrow I'll be going back and forth between Jets, Bills, and Red Zone. So commercial break, I'll go over to Red Zone, see what's going on there. So
yeah.
But I'm I'm looking forward. I'm not looking forward to Patriots Dolphins. That's the Mr. Ick sticker of football games this week for me. All right, players to watch. Which players do we have our eyes on in week 2? And I'm going to start off with a twofer. First of all, Homer alert. And secondly,
can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
Oh man,
that's the first time I'm breaking out that sound bit this year.
I love it.
The reason why I say this is because I have my eyes on number 1 for the Jets on the roster in your hearts, Sauce Gardner. Sauce has been battling a groin issue this week, but he was not listed on the Jets injury report, so he'll be good to go for Sunday. He'll be ready to face Keon Coleman in what is already a must-win situation for the New York Jets, because you don't want to do this. Team does not want to go 0-2 with a back-to-back trip to Florida in the coming weeks. I got Tampa Bay in week 3, Miami in week 4 on Monday night, which I'm hoping that they'll absolutely pound the Dolphins. But that being said, I have my eye on Sauce Gardner. The rest of the secondary is going to have to play much better against Josh Allen. Although I've mentioned on this show and on Victory Monday that MetLife is Josh Allen's kryptonite for the most part. Lost in 2022, lost in 2023. Last year, Monday Night Football needed a field goal to beat the Jets. But I got my eye on Sauce. And the rest of the secondary, I'm just kind of curious to see whether or not he'll be able to, what this term, travel against Keon Coleman. So wherever Keon is in the field, he'll be matched up against him. And he did a decent job against DK Metcalf last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got a 90 grade on Pro Football Focus. He allowed 1 catch, and we all know what that catch was.
Yes.
Happened. And he only allowed, I think 14 or 17 yards receiving period. So he did a solid job last week. Be going against Keon Coleman, shoeless Keon Coleman, and Buffalo Bills. And I'm kind of curious to see not only what Sauce Gardner does, but what that defensive line does, because they ate last week against Aaron Rodgers and limiting him and giving him his life feel uncomfortable. And I know Josh Allen has to get out of the pocket to create plays, but if they can contain him on the edge and have him focus in on trying to stay in the pocket, the interior guys like Quinnen Williams and Harrison Phillips can eat sacks all day and bring him down. So that's who I have my eyes on for week 2. Dustin, how about yourself?
I got a little dynamic duo for who I have my eyes on here. And for me, the first one I'm picking is Derrick Henry. For those of you who know my tenure on the show, you know that I'm a fan of running backs. I love the running back, y'all. I love the position. I think it was underrated. The fact of its diminishing of its importance is ridiculous, and I'm glad to see that it's back. But the reason that I'm watching Derrick Henry is not because of his performance last week, although it was great, minus that fumble.
Mm-hmm.
But Grant Delpit of the Browns, he made the mistake of, when asked how hard is it to bring down Derrick Henry, he said, it's not that hard. And Derrick Henry said, we'll see on Sunday. Derrick Henry is not the type of person that needs extra motivation. I think he's going to crush the Browns, the Browns defense is still good now. Have to give credit where credit is due, and I get you have to be confident in this league. But if I was Browns head coach, Kevin Stefanski, I'm saying, why did you do this?
It's bulletin board material right there.
Yeah, so I'll have my eye on Derrick Henry for that reason. And then I'm also going to be looking at the Giants O-line, okay? A lot has been made of Russell Wilson's struggle last week. He did not look good, okay? But here's my thing. And Uncle Al, shout out to Uncle Al. Haven't seen him in the comments in a while, but he watches quite frequently.
Come on, Al.
He sent me because a lot of people are saying Brian Daboll, this is their last run at it. But The Giants have not invested a top 10 pick in their offensive line going way back, way back. He sent me a list of compiled drafts. He said, this is why Chat GPT was invented. He asked it to summarize the Giants' draft picks, I think, for the last 9 years. None of them were in the offensive line, and they have. Last I knew, the Giants had a lot of the same players that were on the O-line when Detroit was, when Matthew Stafford was getting sacked in Detroit left and right. So it's not going to matter if the Giants don't play better as a unit. I believe they gave up 3 sacks last week. But if they don't play better as a unit, it's not going to matter who is at quarterback. This is not me protecting Russell Wilson. But people have been saying, put Jackson Dart in there. He looked great in the preseason. He did. But it's not going to matter who's at quarterback. If that offensive line does not improve, no one will be able to play quarterback for the New York Football Giants.
So did you say that the Giants didn't? What was your Uncle Al saying?
Or wait, I can't remember. I think they did pick Eric Flowers, but that didn't work out well. I have to go. I'll go back to I'll have to find the email.
So here are the Giants' first round picks. They've had 10 of them since 2019. They had 2 picks in 2019, 2 in 2022, and 2 this year. So in 2019 they picked the Dexter Lawrence and Daniel Jones. In 2020, they picked Andrew Thomas. 2021, Kadarius Toney. Good God. 2022, Evan Neal. Also, good God. They had to move him into the interior. That's how bad he was at tackle. 2022, Kayvon Thibodeau. 2023, Deontay Banks. 2024, Malik Neighbors. 2025, Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart. That's their last 10 first-round picks.
And I guess I misread it. It was mostly just how bad all their offensive line picks have panned out. You got Eric Flowers in round 1, number 9 overall in 2015. Jarrell Adams in round 5. But it just seems that none of these guys have graded out, really. Almost none of them have panned out. When they do pick an O-line, it doesn't end up well. They've got the O-line rankings. I mean, across 8 seasons, the Giants averaged about 25th in offensive line. It's not good. It's just that I think his overall theme is it's not Brian Daboll's fault.
No, it's not. It's whoever's in the GM chair between Gettleman and
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Andrew Thomas has worked out so far.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But
I missed that.
He's battling a foot injury. He was out last week. He's doubtful this week. Evan Neal was projected to be their future great left tackle, but he didn't pan out. Went after the fans last year. If you remember what happened, it was either last year or 2023. Went after the fans on social media for something like for criticizing his play. It's like, buddy, they have a right to do that.
Yeah,
but I believe he's been moved to the interior, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check their depth chart, and Evan Neal is the 3rd right guard on that team. My goodness. How far has he fallen? My goodness.
Yeah.
It's crazy. To the comment section, Kevin, Mr. Kevin Wilson saying, good morning, guy. Good morning to you as well. Dan saying, recent Seahawks belong in the Hall of Fame for obscure wide receivers. Jermaine Kearse, a former Jet, Chris Matthews, Ricardo Lockett, Malik Turner, and D. Eskridge, who was picked before Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, Dan he's all of us are mad that D. Eskridge was picked before Creed Humphrey, but Dan really gets on it.
And D saying they're bringing back the paper bags in New Orleans. It's true. James has Jalen Carter on his line of sight, saying Jalen Carter better put up a massive game after a self-inflicted night off. And yeah, if you missed that story, he did get a fine, and they considered that him getting tossed before the first snap of the game as a 1-game suspension. So he's already served his time Time served. Tap, tap, tap. Case dismissed. Oh, goodness. Kevin's got his eyes on Kenneth Walker. Homer alert. Can he get it going, or is it a lost season? We don't know. We'll find. It's week 2, Kevin. Come on. Be fair. Dancing. That's not true. Andrew Thomas was picked 4th a while back. I went.
Yeah. We corrected my
Andrew
mistakes.
Thomas was picked 4th overall in 2020. Evan Neal was picked 7th overall in 2022. And he also says Abdul Carter was phenomenal at Penn State. Yes, he was. I wouldn't say the Jets would get him. I had my hopes on another Penn Stater, Tyler Warren, but the Jets went with Armand Membu. And so far, I love the pick because he gave up goose eggs in sacks and pressures and hits last week to TJ Watt and company. So I'm happy with that. All right, our second to last segment, we're bringing it back. It's the cut the brake cables, pick 'em challenge.
Cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
And our cut the brakes cable challenge is presented by Royal Retros, the king of throwbacks. Get yourself some gear at royalretros.com and use promo code CREDHEAD at checkout for 15% off your order, and you get free shipping for all orders over $100. So, Dustin, your cut the brakes cable challenge for week 2.
All right. So I'm starting with my first pick. I think this is a lock right here. It's Ravens over the Browns because I think Derrick Henry is going to be PO'd, man. And I think the Ravens as a team are going to be PO'd after losing that heartbreaker in Buffalo when they had it in hand. My second pick, Rams over Titans. I don't think the Titans are going to be able to beat Matthew Stafford and the Rams despite their slow start. I think they'll get it going a little bit, and that Rams defense, pretty good so far to start the seasons. My upset pick, I'm bringing it back. I'm calling this pick my what's your deal pick. I am picking Pete Carroll's Las Vegas Raiders to upset the Los Angeles Chargers coached by Jim Harbaugh. I almost said San Diego again.
That's okay because that's where they belong. They belong in San Diego. All those misplaced San Diego Chargers fans, man. Come on. Spanos family. What are you doing?
Yeah.
All right, my cut the brakes pick 'em this week. I'm going to start with I'm going to go in the opposite direction of you, Dustin. I'm going with the Chargers over the Raiders on Monday night.
Oh, okay.
Even though the Raiders are well known for winning on Monday nights, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I was very impressed by Justin Herbert last week and how he's able to carry this offense. I'm curious to see if the Raiders defense can repeat that performance they had against the Patriots last week and stopping the run. Although Justin Herbert is a much, much, much better quarterback than Drake May. We can all agree about that. Although I'm going to see a random comment from a Patriots fan saying, "Hey, no, he's not." Right,
Joe Quimby?
Still down, Joe Quimby. All right. So I've got Chargers over Raiders. I wouldn't say it's my lock, but I'm going to take the Vikings over the Falcons on Sunday night. Vikings will be. Is your phone ringing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Hope it's not important. But I got it's Sunday night. It's the home opener for the Vikings. They had a great win last week against the Chicago Bears. We talked about it on Total Football Talk Extra yesterday. Talked about how they came back from 15 down to win and scored 21. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter against the Bears defense that took their foot off the brake pedal and took their foot off the gas pedal. And Caleb Williams is just kind of like, whatever. But the Falcons, their first drive was impressive, and they kind of fell on their faces the rest of the game against the Buccaneers and tried to tie it late. Unfortunately, missed wide right. So I got the Vikings over the Falcons, and my wild card pick of the week, taking the Colts over the Broncos.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's my 2-point. That's my 2-point pick. So that's our picks for the week. So again, to summarize, Dustin has the Ravens over the Browns, the Rams over the Titans, and his wild card is Raiders over Chargers. My picks are Chargers over the Raiders, Vikings over the Falcons. My wild card pick, the 2-pointer, it's the Colts over the Broncos. So that's the Cut the Break Cables Pick'em Challenge for this week, presented by Royal Retros, King of Throwbacks. 15% off your order with promo code CREDHEAD at royalretros.com, plus free shipping over $100.
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
Love that sequence. All right, to wrap up the show, we're going to talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 65. And I'm going to start here with former San Jose Shark and current Pittsburgh Penguin, Erik Karlsson, one of the best scoring defensemen of this era of the NHL. We haven't seen a whole lot of scoring defensemen really brought up to the forefront, but that's who I went with. Almost won a Stanley Cup with the Sharks back in 2016, I think it was 2016, against, interestingly enough, the Pittsburgh Penguins. And he's on the, I wouldn't say he's on the downswing of his career, but he's still an elite defenseman. He can still get things done. He is a 3-time Norris Trophy winner, 5-time All-Star. Shout out to Booker T. He was originally with the Ottawa Senators, drafted by the Ottawa Senators. Started with them in 2009, was traded to the Sharks. And I forgot, I'm sorry, I misspoke. He wasn't on the Sharks team that went to the Stanley Cup. Although if I look up San Jose Sharks, I thought it was 2016. Yep, it was 2016. He was not on the team in 2016. That's my mistake. I apologize. But he went to the Sharks in 2018, was on that team, and then last year before the season began, 2 years ago before the season began, he was traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Currently, 35. Okay, I'm surprised. But here's his career stat line. 1,084 games played in the NHL. This is as of last year. 1,084 games, 200 goals, 670 assists for 870 points. He also has career power play goals. He has 44 career power play goals and 38 game-winning goals. So as a defenseman, one of the Norris 3 times, an elite defenseman in his own right, will definitely be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he's nominated and whenever he retires for the Pro Hockey Hall of Fame. So, for the Pro Hockey Hall of Fame. So that's my favorite number 65. I'm pretty sure we'll have a certain Sharks fan in the chat also join it. Let him know. But actually, oh no, he didn't. Okay, so that's my number 65. Dustin, your favorite number 65.
All right, this one's going to turn some heads. This is one of the ones that I can't explain sometimes. I just always like this player. I think what I remember most about this player, it's like Rick Ankiel to me. Rick Ankiel is endlessly one of the most fascinating players because I wonder what could have been, because he was amazing as a pitcher until we all remember the until for the Cardinals there, and then the Cardinals to stick with him. But this is not about Rick Ankiel, but it's part of my explanation as to why I picked this player, because I think I surprised even Ryan with this one. I teased it. I said it was going to be surprising. I liken this pick to when I picked number 4. My favorite number 4 is Michael Finley many episodes back. My favorite player to wear number 65, and like I said, I can't even explain the reason why really, is Phil Hughes.
Oh.
I was looking, like a lot of us were, I was looking for that next young pitching prospect. And for years, it was believed that Ian Kennedy, Phil Hughes, and there was a third guy that it might have been Jabba Chamberlain, actually. They were called Generation Trey, and they were supposed to be the next big pitching prospects for the New York Yankees. And they were supposed to be the anchors of the rotation for many years to come. And I remember Phil Hughes' debut. He had something like 12 or 13 Ks. He looked incredible. And I'm thinking to myself, here we are. This is my guy, Phil Hughes. I love the way he attacks the game. But then the wheels came off a little bit for Phil Hughes. He would have some injuries. He would have some things go on. But I was always waiting for Phil Hughes to put it together. And I thought I thought that he would, and when he was on, because he still had these glimpses where he would be on and he'd look like the person you thought he was going to be. I think Phil Hughes represents that hope springs eternal, at least for me as a Yankee fan. I was hoping he would become the ace that people thought he would be. It did not happen. He ended up going to the Twins. And he just never really panned out to the level that we thought it was. But I always rooted for him, and I was always sad when Phil Hughes got hurt, and it didn't work. It was just he's one of those players that I can't really explain why, but when he was on, his stuff looked electric. And although it was rare, it was due to injuries, and then he would have these starts where the wheels just came off. But when he was dialed in, his stuff looked good. I think people forget that. And 65, it's it. Phil Hughes, he was the first one I thought of. Sometimes you got to go with your gut.
Hey, there you go. And forgot to play this, the Homer Alert.
Oh, yeah.
I think I think that's a record for a number of times we've.
Oh, yeah, we've definitely
on the show.
Yeah.
From the comments section, of course, we got to get our education about the Crimson Tide. Desi saying her favorite number 65 was Chance Warmack. Warmack was one of the better-known guards from Alabama. While he played in college, he was famous for tucking his shirt into his shoulder pads and exposing his stomach during games. He did it before Ezekiel Elliott made it popular. Played at Alabama from 2009 to 2012, picked 10th overall by the Tennessee Titans. Wrapped up his career with your Seattle Seahawks in 2020. Mm-hmm. And James saying, get the Homer Alert out. You already did. I'm not going to bring it out again. He's going with Lane Johnson. Oddly enough, he was supposed to flip to left tackle once Jason Peters retired, but JP was too ageless. He also says he also liked watching Carlson play. Basically played 2019 without a knee in the 2019 postseason. And he also says Hughes was a great as the bridge to Moeware. Get that. But yeah, I looked up Generation Trey, and it was Hughes, Ian Kennedy. Yeah, you mentioned it was Hughes, Kennedy, Chamberlain.
Okay, so I was right about that. Yeah.
Yep. Because we have to be factually accurate on this show and whatnot. But anyway, and Kevin joined in the chat. How about? No, we're not going to read that. Banned. You're banned. Also, give up 4 home runs to the Yankees in early April too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Had to rub it in our faces. Whatever. Padres are still winning the West, Kevin. Anywho, we're getting out of here. But before we do that, just want to remind you about our social media channels, which are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube. You just want to do a search for No Credentials Required. Give us a follow, give us a like, all that fun stuff, and check out other podcasts and written articles, and I guess including Kevin Wilson's at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, Podbean, and our YouTube channel. And hit the notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube so you know where to find us when show announcements go up, when show clips go up, and when the show goes live, because we are live on Tuesdays and on Saturdays, like you're watching now, unless you're watching on replay. Thanks for joining us on No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back here on Tuesday to wrap up all things Week 2 of the NFL. We hope you join us then, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. But we're going to get out of here. We're going to enjoy our respective weekends. You do the same thing. And, in light of what's happened this week, get outside, go talk to people, share a beer, share a laugh together. Don't take life too seriously. And also, politics are not a personality. Thank you. So we're going to get out of here and enjoy our lives for the most part. Watch some football and do some other stuff. So thanks for joining us. We'll be back on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Good morning, everybody.